Thank you for joining me, Glenora Shipura, on NMH at 1, where we highlight the news making waves in Namibia and beyond, ranging from current affairs, community stories, sports, and economic news. Coming up in this broadcast, green schemes face a 54% budget cut, Mbumba's nephew poised for CPBN CEO job, and NTA board under fire. Do stay tuned for these and more on NMH at 1. In our midday news update, EU Ambassador to Namibia Anna Beatrice Martens inaugurated the first ever waste buyback center in Windhoek in partnership with the city of Windhoek and the German city of Bremen in Katutura recently. The center will enable residents to earn income by collecting and selling recyclable materials and will be operational by the end of May, according to city officials. Jemima Dembele reports.
As we gather for the inauguration of the Waste Buyback Center, established under EU-funded project Improving Solid Waste Management in Windhoek. The 44 million NUT EU-funded project was launched 4 years ago in partnership with the cities of Windhoek and Bremen. It has several objectives, but at the core of it, it is about circular economy. The Waste Buyback Center is the first of its kind in Namibia to process waste for resale as raw material, thus reducing waste and at the same time promoting recycling in bringing revenue to community members. With this project, we support Namibia in its efforts to shift towards more sustainable models of recycling waste, transforming waste into new products that have a purpose. The benefits that come with this new model of managing waste is the mitigation of harmful environmental effects, the generation of value, and the enhancement of environmental awareness. It has been a long journey from the groundbreaking ceremony here in October 2022 to today's inauguration of the center. The project has achieved notable milestones thanks to the dedication of all stakeholders involved, and many of them here today.
Visual News highlights local stories from across Namibia. On the other side of the break, we delve into this.
Hello and welcome to today's Sports Rep Show.
I am your host, Jesse Jackson Kauraika. In replay, Namibia, who had won the toss for the first time on this tour.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, starting off with tennis news, both on the WTA for women's and
Getting into our visual news, a public consultation meeting is currently being held at the Walvis Bay Municipality Hall to provide an opportunity for public input into the environmental impact assessment that is being carried out for the radioactive facility Namibia Nekwaya. The radiation officer gives a brief about radiation. Frida Moloto reports.
Radiation offers us a lot of benefits in society, in healthcare, in industry, which is what we are here today, and in different aspects of our society. And so I'm going to take you guys through certain things, and I'll put it in the context of why we are here. So radiation just means that, of course, radiation is matter, and energy that comes out of matter. And remember, everything is made out of atoms. So there's that interaction. We are all made out of atoms, biological tissues, and those tissues are made out of cells. Those cells are comprised of atoms. Atoms, they are electrons, and when an electron is being removed from your millions of cells, when electrons are being removed from your atoms, when an electron is being removed from an atom of a cell, that is why there is what is called ionizing radiation. That's where the problem comes, when you are being exposed to energy that is able to remove an electron from your atom. The moment that starts to happen at the cell level, that is when problems such as perhaps cancer could develop over time.
They plan to construct these facilities in a professionally guided manner that conforms to international standards and guidelines, because issues of radiation, especially as they concern radiation, are heavily regulated. So just a bit of orientation in terms of where the site is. So the site is located in Rukumbi Kandanga Street, and the urban, it's situated on urban 6230 and 6231 of what is known as extension 19.
I'd like to make a correction. That public consultation meeting took place last week. Moving on, Minister of Agriculture, Water and Land Reform, Kale Herman Schleitwein, shares more on the KSEP Collector 2 Skars-Kupe Swakopmund pipeline project. The groundbreaking of this pipeline took place recently. Leandria Mower reports.
The KSEP Collector 2 Skars-Kupe Swakopmund pipeline makes it possible that we put in place a component that integrates the resources that supply Swakopmund and Walvis Bay up to now separately. Swakopmund was supplied from Omdel, Walvis Bay was supplied from the KSEP. When the KSEP floods and our system fails here, Walvis Bay runs dry. When Omdel is over abstracted and we have to limit water as rationed, this collector pipe is part of the project that connects the KSEP resource with the Omdel resource, so that we can supply water from Omdel to Walvis Bay and reduce the risk of a failing system in the KSEP, and vice versa. We can now supply Swakopmund with KSEP water to relieve the stress on the Omdel and avoid rationing or running dry. So that is a good example of how integrating management, resource management of water resources can bring about resilience without putting more pressure on the resource itself. This is why this project is so crucial and so important.
That concludes our visual news segment. After the break, the Namibian Sun leads us into the newspaper review segment.
Hi, Sonia.
Hi, Tufeni. What are you reading?
I'm reading about the Child Care and Protection Act. In this pamphlet I got from school.
What's that?
It is Namibia's main law for the children and the issues affecting them. The Act classifies here that a child is anyone under the age of 18 years. Check out some of the rights meant to protect you. For more information, contact the Children's Advocate.
For more information, contact the Children's Advocate Namibia in the Office of the Ombudsman on 061 20 73 111. Send us an SMS on 20401. SMS costs 40 cents. You can also send us a message via our Facebook page. Remember, the services of the Children's Advocate are free of charge.
Let's take a look at today's daily newspapers, starting off with the Namibian Sun's front page, which reports that after his appointment was initially rejected by cabinet last month, President Nangolo Mbumba's nephew, Idi Itope, is now poised to become the CEO of the Central Procurement Board of Namibia. Itope's name was presented to cabinet in March by Public Enterprises Minister Ipumbushimi for approval as CPBN CEO. But the matter was deferred after allegations that candidates who scored higher than Itope in the interviews were overlooked. 3 of the 5 shortlisted candidates hail from the Zambezi region, and the allegations that they were overlooked infuriated some people in the region who questioned whether tribalism was at play. CPBN Manager for Stakeholder Engagement Johanna Kambala said the allegations were misrepresentation of facts and purely malicious, with the intent to cast doubt on the integrity and credibility of the recruitment process. On page 3, unions and employers are concerned that their oversight over the Vocational Training Fund of the Namibian Training Authority is being undermined. The Namibian Employers Federation, the Namibian Employers Association, the National Union of Namibian Workers, and the Trade Union Congress of Namibia expressed their dissatisfaction in a joint statement last week over no longer being represented on the NTA board. The organizations have threatened to suspend their contributions to the fund. Employers are the largest source of funding for the fund, as businesses with an annual turnover of more than $1 million Namibian are obligated to contribute to the fund. Now moving over to the Republicans' front page, the Rehoboth community is reeling with a shock after the chairman of a local rugby club and his 2 sons, who both played for the club as well as a friend of the sons, died in a horrific road accident on Saturday night. The crash occurred about 9 kilometers from Rehoboth as they and other family members were returning from Windhoek, where their club FNB Rio Falcons had played. Those who lost their lives in the crash are Edmando Kutsie, who was Rio Falcons' first team captain on Saturday, his brother Ethan's, their father, and the club chairman Etienne Kutsie, and a close friend Greshlin Brouwer, the son of former national football team goalkeeper Denzel Brouwer. On page 3, on the edge of civilization, Meeks Settlement is a community haunted. It has no clinic, and the state school only goes to grade 2. Young children furthering their education from grade 3 onwards must wake up at 4 a.m. for a trek to Windhoek, some 20 kilometers away. Commerce Regional Health Director Thomas Ukola chronicled the challenges his team faces in delivering dignified services to Meeks. The frustration came to a head last weekend when one of the residents, Moses Njene, slapped SWAPO branch coordinator Bonifacius Munangongo during a party campaign meeting at the settlement. Moving over to the Allgemeine Zeitung's front page, it reports that the apparent new life that is being blown into the land reform program, while the economic situation combined with the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic disrupted the progress of the land reform exercise in Namibia for a while, the Deputy Minister for Agriculture, Water and Land Reform, Anne Shiweda, was able to point out during her budget motivation that the ministry was able to allocate 7 farms to new settlers. The farms came for $91 million Namibian during the budget period 2023 to 2024. In the budget for 2024 to 2025, an amount of $270 million Namibian has been set aside for land reform as well as the resettlement program. Moving over to page 3, the Allgemeine Zeitung leads with an article about waste management that seems to develop into a situation where by the time June arrives, contracts of the employees in the municipal waste management will expire without these people having the opportunity to find a new livelihood. The employees, who are concerned that their contracts will not be renewed, demand an end to contracts continuously fixed for a term of 6 months, which amounts to exploitation. While these people fear for their livelihoods, the city of Windhoek has proudly announced the introduction of a so-called waste buyback center, which will see people selling their recyclable waste to the waste department. This is seen to be creating jobs. We'll continue with our newspaper review on the other side of the break. In our second half of our newspaper review, we start off with the Namibian's front page, which reports that a war of words has erupted between SWAPO Secretary General Sophia Shaningwa and Popular Democratic Movement leader McHenry Venani over fielding older candidates in the forthcoming presidential and parliamentary elections. While speaking at a political rally at Okalongo on Saturday, Venani said Namibians should not vote for pensioners in the November election. Moving over to page 3, the Namibian University of Science and Technology has been ordered to pay a food purchase agreement debt worth $395,000 Namibian to Excel Investment CC. The company, represented by Watara Yuak, has issued a stern letter of demand to NAST, urging the institution to settle its outstanding dues. The contract between NAST and XL Investment CC was to ensure a steady supply of essential provisions ranging from fresh produce to dry goods to NAST Rietfontein campus. On the New Era's front page, it leads that the budgetary allocation for state-run green schemes across the country has been slashed by a staggering 54% to 65 million Namibian dollars. This revelation by Deputy Minister of Agriculture Anna Shiweda was made last week while motivating the ministry's budget for the 2024 to 2025 financial year. Shiweda admitted the reduced budget allocation will partially disrupt their plans to bring all green schemes countrywide to optimal capacity in terms of productivity and overall input. On page 3, in the run-up to the presidential and national assembly elections, the Electoral Commission of Namibia has earmarked 22 million Namibian dollars to procure mobile voter registration kits after failing to recover the hundreds that went missing. This is in addition to the 83 million Namibian dollars that the Commission has set aside for the procurement of other office materials and supplies, election materials and other goods and services, including the rental of election venues. These details are captured in ECN's budget motivation for the 2024 to 2025 financial year tabled before the National Assembly for debate last week. Moving over to Market Watch, it reports that consulting firm Wood Mackenzie says developing oil and gas resources in the Orange Basin is likely to be challenging owing to the ultra-deep water locations of Namibia's newly discovered oil wells. The finding is contained in a report on the country, which also projects that Namibia can secure as much as $4 billion in investment to extract its oil and gas resources at a water depth greater than 2,000 meters and a reservoir depth of 6,000 meters. Exploiting these fields will push the boundaries of industry capabilities. Issues at the extreme depth include water currents, low temperatures, and temperature gradients, the report said. Now moving on, construction industry raises productivity drop concerns over 4-day work week proposal. An update on this after the break.
Neo Paints has established a 67-year Namibian legacy, creating personalized paint solutions that blend quality and innovation for the Namibian people. We pride ourselves in being a 100% Namibian-owned company, investing in our country and our people by employing and empowering true Namibians. With every brushstroke, Neo Paints commits to our quality guarantee and always delivering a coat of excellence. At Neo Paints, we always stay true to our country. We are as Namibian as you.
Let's take a look at our economic news. Meat and meat products from Rundu Abattoir will now be traded south of the Red Line and exported to international markets following certification by the Directorate of Veterinary Services, which upgraded the abattoir to Class A status. The announcement was made by the Livestock and Livestock Products Board, which said the trading would occur under the strict supervision of the Directorate of Veterinary Services. LLPB has approved the registration of Rundu Abattoir, managed by Meatco, as an A-class export abattoir after it received export status registration from the Directorate of Veterinary Services. Let's now take a look at our economic indicators. The Namibian dollar trades against the British pound at 23.64, against the euro at 20.21, 2 Namibian dollars and 62 cents gets you 1 Chinese yuan. On the Namibia Stock Exchange, Namibia Breweries Limited went up at 0.03%, while First Rent Namibia Limited went down at 0.50%. Overall index went down at 0.05%, while local index went up at 0.12%. On the commodities market, all major commodities went down, with Brent crude oil trading at 0.77%, going for $90.14 per barrel.
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master. Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss My.NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and ignite your passion for automobiles.
Getting into our news from Africa, nearly 60 people have died since the start of this month in heavy rains and flooding that has hit several parts of Tanzania, the government said. The coastal region of the East African country is one of the worst affected, with floods damaging thousands of farms there. Mombare Matini, the government spokesperson, said in a statement on Sunday. Serious flood effects are experienced in the coast region, where 11 people have so far died. Mr. Matini added he said 58 deaths have been recorded so far from the flooding. Last Friday, 8 school children died after their bus plunged into a flooded gorge in the north of the country. April marks the peak of Tanzania's rainy season. This year has seen the heaviest rainfall in recent years. The heavy rains have also led to the deaths of at least 13 people and displaced some 15,000 in neighboring Kenya. The UN said the El Nino weather phenomenon has worsened this year's seasonal rains, weather experts have said. On the other side of this short break, we take a look at our international news. Europe's aviation regulator reaffirmed advice to airlines to use caution in Israeli and Iranian airspace, though it said no civil overflights had been placed at risk during weekend tensions surrounding Iranian drone and missile strikes on Israel. The European Union Aviation Safety Agency said, and the European Commission would continue to closely monitor the situation to assess any potential safety risk for EU aircraft operators and be ready to act as appropriate. EASA guidance that is already in place for airlines in Israel and Iran continue to apply, it said in an email note. On the other side of the break, we'll be taking a look at our local sports news.
Hi, Kambaripa.
Hi, Melissa.
You look upset. Is everything okay?
A healthcare worker refused to attend to me because I visited the healthcare facility without a guardian.
Healthcare workers are not allowed to do that. This sounds like a job for your shield of survival.
Huh?
Your rights, they're your superpowers. Your shield of survival is your right to life, health, nutrition, shelter, and an adequate standard of living.
For more information, contact the Children's Advocate Namibia in the Office of the Ombudsman on 061 20 73 111. Send us an SMS on 20401. SMS costs 40 cents. You can also send us a message via our Facebook page. Remember, the services of the Children's Advocate are free of charge.
In our local sports news, Flame Special One Nangolo wasted little time on Saturday night on his way to beating Zimbabwean boxer Jeremiah Mahere by third-round technical knockout in a junior lightweight bout. The Ramblers Women's FC coach Hafeni Ndeitunga was a frustrated figure in his team's defeat to Girls and Goals FC, blaming the officials for wrong decisions. Girls and Goals FC defeated Ramblers Women 2-0 in the FNB Women's Super League at the NFA Technical Center on Saturday. The thrill of competition and challenge filled the air as the 2024 FNB Schools Mountain Bike League resumed last Saturday at the IJG Trials on the southern outskirts of Windhoek. We now take a look at our international sports news. Arsenal blew the Premier League title race wide open with a 3-1 win over Liverpool on Sunday to close within 2 points of the leaders. World number 1 Scottish Scheffler captured his second Masters title on Sunday, dominating a back 9 shootout for a 4-stroke victory at Augusta National. After this short break, we'll be taking a look at the highlights from today's broadcast. Here are the news highlights. Nearly 60 people have died since the start of this month in heavy rains and flooding that has hit several parts of Tanzania, the government said. Europe's aviation regulator reaffirmed advice to airlines to use caution in Israeli and Iranian airspace, though it said no civil overflights had been placed at risk during weekend tensions surrounding Iranian drone and missile strikes on Israel. The Ramblers Women FC coach Hafeni Ndeitunga was a frustrated figure in his team's defeat to Girls and Goals FC, blaming the officials for wrong decisions. Girls and Goals FC defeated Ramblers Women 2-0 in the FNB Women's Super League at the NFA Technical Center on Saturday. Those have been your highlights. Remember to tune in every weekday at 1 p.m. to spend your lunch hour with NMH at 1, catching up on the latest news in Namibia and beyond. From me, Glenn Rashipura, until next time.